Most people think World War I was just a warm-up for World War II, a blurry mess of trenches and gas masks, somewhere between old cavalry charges and modern tanks. But that's the biggest lie your history teacher ever told you. Because World War I didn't just change warfare, it destroyed everything. 4 empires vanished. The world map got redrawn in blood. New ideologies were born. Communism, fascism, even the seeds of Islamic militancy. And the way it started? With a teenager, a pistol, and the worst wrong turn in history. This isn't just a story about war, it's a story of lies, betrayal, paranoia, and pride. The truth? World War I wasn't inevitable. It was engineered. Let's begin with the names you never hear. The German Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Russian Empire, the Ottoman Empire. 4 colossal titans that had ruled over vast lands and millions of people for centuries. After World War I? Gone. Wiped from the map like dust off a table. Entire royal bloodlines ended, kingdoms dissolved, and it all started in a sleepy corner of the Balkans where ethnic tensions were boiling like an overfilled kettle. Serbia wanted independence. Austria-Hungary wanted control. And Franz Ferdinand, the man caught in the middle, wanted to fix everything. Instead, he became the first casualty of a war that would burn the entire world alive. June 28, 1914, Sarajevo. Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, rides through the city with his wife, Sophie. It's supposed to be a public relations tour, show strength, calm tensions. What they don't know? 7 assassins are stationed along the route, all part of a Serbian nationalist group called the Black Hand. The first grenade misses. Chaos erupts. Everyone thinks the threat is over. Hours later, the Archduke's driver takes a wrong turn and stalls the car, right in front of Gavrilo Princip. He's 19. Tuberculosis is eating away at him. He was just eating a sandwich, convinced he failed his mission. Now destiny parks the target right in front of him. 2 shots. Franz is hit in the neck, Sophie in the stomach. They die in minutes. The empires don't just mourn, they prepare for vengeance. Austria-Hungary sends Serbia an ultimatum. It's intentionally impossible to accept. Serbia complies with most of the demands, but not all. Austria declares war. Russia mobilizes to protect Serbia. Germany, fearing a 2-front war, launches its Schlieffen Plan, invade France through neutral Belgium. Britain, defending Belgian neutrality, joins the fray. Within days, the world is at war. It wasn't a domino effect. It was a trap. Decades of treaties, secret alliances, arms races, and imperial arrogance created a world rigged to explode. And explode it did. The war introduced horrors the world had never seen. Machine guns turned open fields into slaughterhouses. Barbed wire made escape impossible. Trenches flooded with blood, rats, and disease. Men slept with their rifles, afraid the next shell would bury them alive. And then came the gas, chlorine, phosgene, mustard, silent killers that melted lungs and blinded soldiers. This wasn't war, this was industrial murder. Battle after battle shattered records for human suffering. The Battle of the Somme, over 1 million casualties. Verdun, 300 days of non-stop shelling. Gallipoli, a campaign so brutal it created national trauma in Australia and Turkey. On the Eastern Front, Germany crushed Russia's outdated forces, but the chaos sparked something far worse: revolution. The Tsar was overthrown, Russia became the first communist nation, one empire down. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, the Ottoman Empire fought its own battles. The British incited an Arab revolt promising freedom they never intended to give. Lawrence of Arabia led tribal warriors against the Turks, but secretly, Britain and France had already agreed to carve up the region under the Sykes-Picot Agreement. The betrayal would ignite future chaos for generations. 2 empires down. In Africa and Asia, colonial troops were dragged into a white man's war. Over 4 million soldiers from India, Africa, and the Caribbean fought in Europe's trenches. Their stories were erased, their sacrifices ignored. In China, Japan joined the Allies not to help but to expand its empire. It seized German colonies in Asia, setting the stage for a future war in the Pacific. Every continent was touched. This was not just a European war, it was global. In the Atlantic, Germany's U-boats hunted merchant ships with ruthless efficiency. When the RMS Lusitania was sunk, 128 Americans died. Outrage exploded across the U.S., but America still held back, until the Zimmermann telegram. Germany offered Mexico U.S. territory if it joined the war. When the British exposed the telegram, it was game over. In 1917, the U.S. entered the war, and everything changed. American troops brought fresh energy. Modern industry ramped up supplies. Germany, starving under a British blockade, launched a desperate spring offensive in 1918. It failed. Mutinies broke out. The people rose up. The German Kaiser fled to exile. On November 11th, at 11:00 a.m., the guns finally fell silent. But peace never truly came. The Treaty of Versailles was a trap of its own. Germany was blamed entirely for the war, forced to pay impossible reparations, stripped of its colonies, its military neutered, its people humiliated. They called it the Diktat, the dictated peace. But it was anything but peaceful. It sowed rage, nationalism, revenge. The German economy collapsed. Hyperinflation turned bread into gold. Out of that chaos rose a bitter ex-soldier named Adolf Hitler. He didn't just remember the war, he worshipped it. He called it a betrayal, a stab in the back, and he promised to fix it all. 2 decades later, he kept that promise, with fire. So what did World War I really do? It killed more than 20 million people, wounded 21 million more, toppled 4 empires, redrew borders across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, created the League of Nations, a weak, toothless precursor to the UN. It birthed modern propaganda, modern espionage, and total war. It introduced tanks, planes, and flamethrowers. It proved that human life meant nothing in the face of industrial warfare. And worst of all, it planted the seeds for a second, even more catastrophic world war. This wasn't just the war to end all wars. It was the war that gave birth to every war after it. Want to uncover the shocking hidden truths of history's bloodiest battles? Subscribe now for more mind-blowing, spine-chilling stories that school textbooks won't dare to print. Because if you don't learn the real history, you're doomed to repeat it.